Hey everyone, this is Glitch here. So, ready to deploy the White Fury himself, Sergei Dragunov. He isn't just about a rushdown character, he's a frame trap terror, a silent killing machine who turns every match into a military operation. If you love relentless pressure and opponent breaking mind games, you have clicked the right intel file. Let's drill this down. First of all, we're gonna talk about Dragunov's jab pressure, which is just one. So, as I have told you guys in my previous videos, that every time when you do a jab or do a down forward one, you can always condition your opponent. Or these are basically the checks. You want to check your opponents with jabs and down forward one so that they're not doing any sort of funny business. Like if you're playing Dragunov, you always need to check your opponent what they are doing and what they are not. In season 1, Dragunov was basically brain dead, but in season 2 now he has become a perfect character. Dragunov has every kind of move set to counter anything that is thrown at him. A jab is a very good tool for Dragunov because it has some follow-ups, counter hit follow-ups. There is 1-3. And by the way, if your opponent blocks, this cannot be, second hit cannot be ducked. So keep that in mind. It's a high and notorious 1-2-1. So this is a heat engager from a jab string. What you need to do is, if your opponent is sidestepping, you can hit them with this. Like the second hit tracks. And if you have confirmed the counter hit, you can always check your opponent with 1-2. The only frame trap you have here after 1-2 on hit is 1. Dragunov has a down forward 4, but it is interruptible, kind of interruptible, because if you do down forward 1, if you do 1-2, and on hit, if you go for down forward 4, your opponent can trade with the jab. The second best check Dragunov has is down forward 1. Now, you're gonna construct your game plan with down forward 1, around down forward 1. His down forward 1 is -2 on block. I'm telling you about the mind game around down forward 1 and how you can condition your opponent with down forward 1. Now, down forward 1 has extension of 4. It's a high. So keep that in mind. If your opponent, if you have a read that your opponent is going to mash some buttons, you can go for down forward 1-4. But most of the times you don't need to. You're checking your opponent with down forward 1. Now you can do down forward 1 backdash. You can do down forward 1 sidestep, or you can do down forward 1 into down forward 1 to check your opponent again and again. You can also do, if your opponent is respecting you a lot, you can also go for down forward 1 dash and down forward 1 like this, so that your opponent can't sidestep or will be scared by sidestepping, and you want to annoy your opponent with this move down forward 1 so that your opponent starts making mistakes. Whenever you do down forward 1, you need to check your opponent that what he's doing. When they start to react on your down forward 1, you can then go further with your pressure. So if you have annoyed your opponent with down forward 1 and they have started reacting to it, what you're gonna do is, like a good opponent will always go for jabs or down forward 1s. So we can't jab here because we are -2, and we can't down forward 1 them again either. So what we need to do is, we're gonna sidestep, or if we are feeling good about it, we can go down 2. Your opponent can also go for only jab, and then in that case down 2 will not counter hit the opponent. It will happen like this. So if your opponent jabs, now when your opponent is annoyed and starting to press buttons, you're gonna react to their options. Now if they are doing 1-2, you can always go for down 2, or if you are feeling very good about yourself, you can go for down forward 2 like this. These are some of the things that you need to keep in mind with Dragunov, because he's kind of a rushdown character, but his neutral is not that great. Dragunov doesn't play in neutral. So down forward 1, sidestep, down forward 1, sidestep, down forward 1, now you know, and you can hit your opponent with down 2. If your opponent goes for down forward 1s, 13 frame mates. If your opponent starts to check you after down forward 1, what to do then? Now if I hit my opponent, they are doing down forward 1s, and the timing is a little different too. So the first thing is that you can always sidestep and punish them accordingly, like this. See, it's really easy. Sidestep, block, and down forward 2. Sidestep, block, and down forward 2. Sidestep, block, and down forward 2. So you need to do this, or if your opponents check you again, you can go for this down 4. But you will only use down forward 1 4 when you have a hard read or you have reacted to something. Only then you're gonna use down forward 1 and then 4. But when your opponent is like there's a quick game going and it's a clutch situation, what you need to do is down forward 1 and then 1 2. Your 1 will always interrupt your opponent no matter what. If they use down forward 1 or slow, if they use any move of 13 frames or slower, they're gonna get hit by it. So you can counter hit confirm 1 2 and go for a heat engager like this. So down for 1 is your pressure tool where you can condition your opponent to stop pressing buttons, and you can always abuse 1 2 and then go for something else. Now the next thing we're going to talk about is if your opponent is conditioned and he has stopped pressing buttons. The next thing we're going to start doing is running 2. So your running 2 is 15 to 16 frames. What you need to do is, if you press down forward 1, you are plus 7 I believe. So you can frame trap down forward 1 with running 2 if you're really fast with it. Like this. Like this. So this was a frame trap and you have successfully counter hitted your opponent. So if the opponent is has started to block and you know that they are gonna just block and stop pressing buttons, then you can go with the running 2. First you need to make your opponent stop pressing buttons with down forward 1 and 1 2. After down forward 1, you're gonna use 1 2 and then you can also sidestep and down 2. Now when your opponent has stopped pressing the buttons, then you can go for running 2s. Now what your opponent can do is they can always sidestep your running 2, so you have to mix up your timing. See, your opponent can sidestep, but 1 2 also tracks. Now if I go running 2 and running 2 again, your opponent can actually sidestep it. See, and your opponent can easily do sidesteps because running 2 is a little linear. So what you need to do is delay it a little so that you can track and you can again get into an advantageous situation. After running 2, you don't have enough options. Like you have enough options, but your opponent can counter them with a single movement. So in this case, if we go like this, your opponent can sidewalk everything that you do after running 2. I'm delaying it a little. See, if you go for an immediate down forward 1, this will always whiff. And this is your safest move. This is a frame trap, and after running 2, you need to check your opponent with this. Now, if your opponent is sidewalking towards the Dragunov after down forward 2, everything will whiff. See, the next thing you want to do is, if you're not sure if your opponent is going to sidestep or press a button, what you're gonna need to do is go for second down forward 2, or if they press the button, go for back 3. This is a frame trap too. Like you're plus 4 and back 3 is 14 frames. So it's kind of a frame trap. Your opponent can't do anything except for power crushing. So you have 2 moves to stop your opponent to sidewalk or sidestep. One is back 3 and the other one is down 2. Now you're always going to use down 2 or back 3 to stop your opponents, or what you can do is hit them with another running delayed running 3. This will make your opponent press buttons, and then you can start pressuring them with grabs or down 2s or down forward 1s to stop your opponent from pressing. If they go for a power crush, you can always go for a jab. If they go for something faster, you can stop them with down forward 1. And if they just decide to sidestep you, what you can do is you can dash in and then down forward 1. And again, the whole situation recreates itself with the down forward 1 or 1 2, or you know, down forward 1 and sidestep block. So this is the mind game that you need to master after down. You, if you don't know what your opponent is doing, or you can't keep up with what your opponent is doing, just keep on mashing down forward 1 and blocking it. Eventually you'll start to notice your opponent's habits, and you're gonna remember them and capitalize on them. And now let's talk about down 2s. Now down 2 is a kind of pop that it actually, down 2 actually tracks pretty well to both sides, and you need to use this move. You need to make your opponent scared with down 2, because down 2 is kind of a move where your opponent will be scared to duck, and when they start to duck, you can use down forward 2s or down back or back 4-3s. You have to synergize your down forward 1 with running 2, and it should be fast enough that your opponent, that you are not telegraphing it. And the other thing you need to synergize with down forward 1 is down 2, because this is a move where you're going to condition, and you need to remember what I do to remember my opponent's habit is that I use moves in pairs. Like, I'll use 1 and then down forward 1. Now this is a joint I'm using to read my opponent what they do. So just because I'm using 1 and then down forward 1, my opponent either will do a fast move or they will try to sidestep. They can't duck, they know that they don't want to duck it. So then afterwards what I'll do is, where I'm using down forward 1, I'll start using down 2s. So this will cover all my options if my opponent sidesteps or mash something. So most of the times my opponent will get scared with down 4, and you need to show your opponent that you are obvious about your down 2s, so that you can capitalize your down 2s with down forward 2s, so that you can capitalize your down 2s when your opponent starts to duck. You would exactly know where your opponent will duck, and then you can hit them with down forward 2s. But first you need to annoy them enough, like this and then this. Afterwards you can go for this. You hit them with this. Now your opponent is annoyed, you can go for down 2. Same goes for the direct down forward 1 pressure. Like, now you know they are sidestepping. Like, I have checked my opponent, okay, they sidestep. Now again I'm gonna use down forward 1. They again sidestep. So I know for a fact that they will sidestep. So what I'll do is I'll go for down 2s. And these are immediate down 2s. If you're not sure about it, you can always go and press dash in and down forward 1 them again to recreate the situation. Like this, and then go for this. Now just like that, if you have seen that Law ducked because of my down 2. So what I'll do is, next time I know that after the second down forward 1, the opponent ducked, and I can go for like down forward 2 or back 4-3 if I need to activate my heat. Down 2 is -1 on hit and -13 on block, but it can track pretty well. The mind game after it comes that you need to abuse your down 2s like this, then sidestep down 2, then sidestep down 2. Like, you can abuse this down 2 because your opponent will not duck, and they will try to counter you with hop kicks, or after eating the down 2s they can also try to counter you with wild 4, because this is the fastest hit they can have. Remember I told you about what to do after down forward 1? You can do the same things after down 2. For example, I use down 2 and then I can always go and sidestep it. See, and then punish my opponent according to this, like this, and this. Down two is that kind of a move. Like down two is your low down forward one. Like it's the same thing with better tracking and good frames. It's just a punishable low down. It's kind of a little punishable check, but it's worth it. So you can go for a good combo and make your opponent scared to mash after down two. They will need to block the down two, and when they start to block down twos, you can start going for mids. So this is the mind game behind Dragunov's down two. Like you need to force your opponent to make mistakes, you know. You can also mix your down two with running two like this. Like you go for far away. Like you show them that you're running, and if they sidestep, you can go close and then go for down two like this, and then like after the jab, you can throw running two, or after a jab, you can go for down twos. So it's that kind of a deal. You can mix down two with everything that Dragunov has, and then from that way, like if you hit them with down two, you sidestep, then again go for down twos, and now again you are in a proper advantageous situation where Dragunov shines. Then again go for down forward one, then down twos. If your opponent is pretty good at guessing, or it's not your good day and everything you're doing is not working, what will you need to do then? You will need to do is check your opponent with running twos and stop pressing. Like always, when you don't know what to do, you will stop pressing buttons after getting your pluses, and then try to abuse them with down twos after your plus frames. So this is one of the very good things that Dragunovs have. So we have talked about Dragunov's jab pressure, we have talked about Dragunov's 1-3-2, and he also has 1-3-1 in it. So this is highly steppable. So you need to make sure that your opponent is not stepping, and it is a high. So you don't want to abuse it. You just need to do it when you know when you have a read on your opponent. So this also kind of tracks, but 1-3-2 is better. We can go for now. The other hit that you need to master is back two. This is like a down forward one, but it's a little slower. It has a high follow up. It has actually it is a part of a string, but you don't want to use the third move of the string. So you can use back 2-1, but be very cautious. If you know your opponent is going to mash after it, then you can press back 2-1, and it is a very good substitute of down forward 1. So you can use all these moves in synergy. For example, if you're running toing your opponent and they are stepping towards the left, for example, this move can track towards the left. See, or your down 2 will track, or back 3. As I told you, back 3, if your opponent blocks back 3, you will be in a negative situation, and you will give up your turn after back 3. Just like that, you can hit them with back 2. It will track towards the left side to stop your opponent. And then if you hit them with back 2, the good thing about back 2 is it leaves you in crouch and you're +8 after hit. So if they hit you, you can go for a crouch mix-up. You can go for crouch 1-4. After this, you can go for this while 3, like this. Now this is uninterruptible, so you can always go for this, and this is a very good move at wall 2. So for example, I do running 2 and this hits, I can go for a mix up and again mix them up with something new. you want to do is, when you condition your opponent with down forward 1, this is a new thing in season 2. So what you can do is you can do a roll, and this acts like a sidestep, but it is a little unsafe. So you need to surprise your opponent with this. You don't want to use this all the time. Just need to surprise it, and there are two follow-ups. There's a mid follow-up, two new follow-ups. There's a mid one that I would recommend you to do. Or what you can do is go for a tackle like this. Any other move that this move actually, any other follow up after this move is not that good. I won't recommend you to use this. The best move out of this is while 4 or 2, and in both cases, if your opponent blocks it, your turn will end. So it is just to surprise your opponent with it. You can only use it when your opponent is not expecting it, or you're thinking, if you have a read that your opponent will not do anything, because it is interruptible and it is pretty slow, your opponents can react to it. Okay, the next poke is like down forward 4. This is a long range 12 frame poke, and this is to check your opponent. And because of its range, if your opponent, like, you can create whiffs out with this. Like, you can just hit this move with the tip range, and then you can make your opponent whiff moves. This, like this. You can make your opponent whiff with this move, and this is a good keep out, but this ends your turn. So be careful. You will always try to sidestep, block, or backdash after this move, so that you don't get hit by anything. So this move is pretty good in terms of creating whiffs. This will help you out a lot in clutch situations where you need to punish your opponent. Let me show you some other move that it can whiff almost anything your opponent has, until or unless your opponent delays and dash in to hit you with something. They try to hit you with a homing move, and you can always backdash. So best option after this move is a backdash, and you can create some whiffs out of it. You can also interrupt them after a jab check, but this is highly steppable, so you need to be unpredictable about it. You don't need to like abuse it. You just need to use it as a keep out, so that if your opponent is approaching you or you're not sure what they'll do when they come close to you, you can poke them or abuse them with this 1-1. It is a very good keep out. If you know your opponent is coming and using a slow move or delaying the move, you can always counter them with 1-1. In a keep out situation, you can always use it as a keep out, and you can hit confirm the counter hit property with this move. When you know that your opponent has pressed the button, you can always finish it and go for further pressure. You will block the homing every time. I'm just inputting it late, but like this. And if your opponent starts to do jab after this, they are going to get launched. And you can always react. So you can always make your opponent whiff. And this is all the same. That's why Dragunov's poking is very good. And when you abused down running 2 enough, your opponent will try to sidestep it or power crush through it. Now the next move I want to talk about is 2-1-4. So 2-1 is your 10 frame punish, and it is very good. It's 2-1-3 and 2-1-4. You don't need to use 2-1-3 and 2-1-4 every time. You can use 2-1-4 because it's a little safer and it can be low parried, but you can only use it when you know your opponent is going to mash after this. And if you hit your opponent with this 2-1, you can go into sneak cancel by pressing down forward, and your opponent can't do anything about it if it hits. If they sidestep, they can't sidestep, they cannot do anything except for a power crush in this situation. they can only go for a power crush there. But what you can do is you can mix it up with the grab, or you can mix it up with this. Let me show it to you. If the opponent power crushes, if 2-1 hits, the opponent can't do anything. See? See, you can't power crush out of it. Or you can also use a grab like this to stop your opponent from power crushing, because this can be interrupted with the power crush. You don't need to use this, and you can always cancel it out too, like this. Like this. You can always bait your opponent with this and do the pokes that I told you already. Like this. And then punish them and go for something cooler. So we have talked about 2-1, and this is all about the pressure you can create. And after running 2, let me show one more thing to you. After running 2, your opponent can't power crush either. If you use a jab, opponent will not be able to counter you. They will need to use a parry or something like that. If you think your opponent is too unpredictable with the offense, you can always go for this. And you can stop your opponent with mashing a power crush and be safer around it, like this. And here you can hit confirm, but if I am doing it frame perfectly, the opponent can't do anything. See? So 1-1 is very good too here. So every time you have a +4 situation going on, you can use 1-2, and this is really safe. You can also go for this situation too. See? As I was telling you, you can always, check your opponent with this kind of stuff. And then go for something like this. Now this is a very good pressure after quarter circle forward 4. Now the next hit I want to talk about is down 4. Now this is a quick poke. This is not that good, it's 15 frames, but if you want to mix your lows with something cool, with like if you don't want to be predictable with your timing, just to change the timing of your lows, you can go for down forward 4. And you don't want to use the follow-up, you can just use, this is a good round ender basically, and you can't do anything about it. You're -9 on hit, so you don't need to use it unless you need to end the round with it in some sort of okay situation. Now you sidestep and then you down to your opponent. For example, you have conditioned your opponent with the sidestep block and down forward 1. Like this, and then you condition your opponent with pressing down 2 on whiffs. Now your opponent is scared with down 2 because it's hitting, then you can go for down forward 2. This is how you capitalize this. Down forward 2 is a very good whiff punisher too, like your opponent can't do anything about it, and it has a very good range. It's a very good whiff punisher. You can see from how far it hit, like this. So this is a very good whiff punisher. This is a very good timing catch move and a whiff punisher too, like this. This is quarter circle 1 by the way, and on block it's not that good now. In season 1 it was -3 on block, so it was pretty good, but now it's not that good. You just need to whiff punish it with it. Okay, the next move I want to talk about is down back 2-1-2. It's a counter hit launcher, but you have to be careful about using it. You can always hit confirm down back 2-1. There's a timing catch, and if you can do it, you can do it with practice. If you can, this is a very good move to do. See, and it gives you a big launcher for a big damage. And it also tracks, see, it tracks to the left side, but it will not track to the other side. So be very careful. See, it whiffed. So if I get late or if I delay my timing a little, then it can catch the opponents. But most of the time it will whiff. So down forward 1-2 is pretty good. You can use down 2 or you can use this. See, so down back 2-1-2 is very good, and it's -14, so you need to learn how to hit confirm with it. Now back 1-2 is a high crushing mid, and you can whiff punish your opponents with this, like in this situation, like this, and then pressure your opponents. It's very good if you know, if you can react to a certain move that your opponent is doing, or they are very predictable with it. You can react and punish them with down back 1-2, and then pressure them. And by the way, running 2 is guaranteed here. If your opponent is going to do anything after back 1-2 hits, running 2 is guaranteed on counter hit. Then the opponent will need to block it, or you can pressure them with down 2, like run towards them, show them, project them the running 2 and go for down 2. So this is very cool about this move, like this. See how I'm projecting the running 2 here. A little dash forward, and then running 2, and just like that, a little dash forward and down 2. So you can always do this to make your opponent second guess themselves, and you can also do the bigger punish if you are up to it, if you're feeling good. So back 1-2 is pretty good. This can also high crush. So if your opponent is against the wall, you can always, and they like to use highs. For example, your opponent likes to use highs. You can always punish them like this, and because it does high crush, you don't need to use down 2 at the wall. If you want to, you definitely can. But if you have a read that your opponent is going to use a high move, you can punish them with this. And this is a huge damage for a high crushing move, and it also walls flat, so why not? And it's only -12 on block. Now the next thing I want to talk about, remember I told you Dragunov is not a neutral character, neutral game character. That is because he likes to be in advantage to pressure you. He's a rushdown character, so you need to pressure your opponent with the moves. So the next move we're gonna talk about is back 1+2. It gives you +6, and your opponent. This is a frame trap. Back 1-2, back 4-3, down 2 is kind of a frame trap because most of the faster hits won't hit. So the only thing the opponent can do here is a dig jab. Even down forward 1 would trade with down 2, and you will be in a better situation because on counter hit down 2 is +13. So after down 2 hits on counter hit, you can go for running 2, and your opponent can't do anything, and you're again in +4 without taking any risk. But you have to be fast about it because your opponent can do a power crush if you get late. So you have to be fast. Learn how to do running 2s perfectly. You need blue spark running 2 so that you can control the spacing and your opponent. And also you can use running 2 if your opponent whiffs from far away. You can find an opening and use running 2 because it is very steppable. So you need to be very unpredictable with running 2s. And if your opponent starts doing side steps, you can go for down 2s, or you can go for double forward 3s. So back 1 plus 2 is plus 6. You can do the same mind game, or actually a better mind game after running 2. So your frame traps after back 1 plus 2 are back 4 3, down 2. Kind of a frame trap. I would say down 4 is a better frame trap. Down forward 1 is a good frame trap. 2 1 is a good frame trap. See, and it didn't let him use the power crush 2. Also down forward 4 is good to stop them with power crush, but it's not worth it. You can go for 1 2. This is a frame trap here. You can also go for back 3s too. Any move that your opponent use except for a power crush, all of these can frame trap your opponent and they have to block. And if you want to stop your opponent from power crushes, you can always go lows like this, or you can go for this too, and the grabs. But in Law's case, the grab whiffs. It's a little bit of a high crush move, so you have to be careful. It's a character specific thing. So the best thing you can do is down forward 1 to check your opponent again, and check him with down 2s after this move. Show them that you're abusing down 2 after this, so that they start to duck. And when they start to duck, you can start going for back 4 3s. This is a little slow. This is on a little slower side, but what you can do is, when your opponent stands up from the ground, well, you can abuse this like this, and this also gives you a follow-up. This is a little harder to confirm now, but it's worth it. You guys can let me know in the comments if they have removed the heat engager property from the grab, but I believe it was this grab that used to heat engage. Let me know, guys, but it's a big damage and it's a clean damage, so yeah, why not? You can use this move. You can also go for down forward ones too, like this. This is a confirm, but it is not worth it. I don't think it is worth it, but it gives you like plus, and just for the sake of mind game, you can do it, but you don't have to, because the grab is so much better and it gives you a knockdown too. So you can go for a running too. So if you're playing against a good player, they will remain grounded, so you can just hit them with the running too. So you need to mix your game, running to game, with down twos, and just for the sake of high level play, or to change your timing, just like you'll use down 4, you can also go for quarter circle back 3+4 to make your opponent crouch or stop stepping. So you need to stop your opponent. Let's get into back 3+4. This is a good move just because it's safe and it's -2. It's a little slow, but it has a built-in parry, and turns it into an attack grab, and then your opponent is knocked down, and you can always pressure them with running 2 or down 2s. Afterwards, the same situation comes over, and you don't need to take the Oki each and every time, but it's just for the sake of that you should know that where you are advantageous and where you aren't, and you need to know what your opponent does in those situations. So this is pretty good, I would say. I have told you about back 3, and it's a very good homing move. It's a high. Yeah, if your opponent blocks it, your turn is over. But the best thing about it is that it gives you a million plus on hit, so you can abuse running 2 again. And if your opponent tries to do anything funny, you can hit them with this or running 2 if you're fast enough. Like, you can always go opt for something else too. but you are heavy plus and your opponent can't do anything. So the best option is that you can do it again. Just do it again. This never misses, and I have tried it. Just do it again. It's minus 12 on block, but it gives you a big damage if your opponent is not respecting like this. This is a very good Whiff Punisher back 4-3. It is also a hit engager and it gives you a follow-up afterwards. So back 4-3 is very good. Anything slower than a jab, if your opponent is using anything slower than a jab after running 2, after blocking running 2, they are going to get hit by back 4-3. The only option that your opponent can do in this situation to stop you from back 3 is they can only do a jab. So it trades. Let me show it to you. They blocked it. They got hit. They used down forward 1. See, it traded. Back 4 traded. But in this case, if they use down forward 1, it doesn't trade. So your opponent will try to do jab or dig jabs against you after getting hit by running 3. So you can always sidestep or you can use your own jab to stop them. So when you condition your opponent with this, you can start doing down 2s, because down 2 can be interrupted by down forward 1s. Check them with this every now and then to hit them with down 2. And when your opponent has stopped pressing buttons, then you can go for your running 2 pressure. But if they use a jab, it can be like they can trade. It can be traded with the jab after running 2 hits. Now the next hit I want to talk about is back 4-2. You only need to use back 4-2. You don't need to use back 4-2-1 until or unless you know your opponent is going to press a big button, because you can always sneak cancel and condition them with this move. And when your opponent is annoyed because of this, then you can press 2, and you can also hit confirm it. And when your second hit of back 4-2 hits, you can press the 1 and get the third hit too. Or what you can do is sneak cancel it into a 50-50 mix-up. This can be interrupted, but Dragunov has more moves that opponent can't interrupt. This can be interrupted with the jab, but you want your opponent to interrupt with the jab. And this is uninterruptible until or unless the opponent does a power crush. And for power crushes, you can go for a grab like this. So this is uninterruptible in this case. So there is a mind game going on here. And you can also use this move entirely alone, but this is a very good move. So back 4-2 is very good. I'm gonna talk about the sneak cancel moves too. This move is a very good Whiff Punisher too. But this is a long range Punisher. So if the opponent is doing a long range move that pushes you back too much, like Paul's Death Fist, you can use this to punish them. And it gives you a follow up afterwards too. Like this. This is a follow up that you can do after punishing your opponent with this, and this is a big damage too. So use for 1+2 as a Whiff Punisher, and I don't think it has any other use. So the other move, a long range move that I wanted to talk about, is forward 3. Nobody talks about this move, and this is a very good move, I must say, because this conditions the opponents pretty well, like this. And it is safe, by the way. So if your opponent does anything, You can counter interact with them in the terms, like if they are using a jab, you can use two quarter circle two, but you have to be careful because it is launch punishable. It's a 14 frame launcher. It's minus 14 on block, so be careful about it, and it can be interrupted with down forward one. But the good thing about down forward or one is that down forward one is slow and the one is high, so you can always hit them with this move. Okay, it's a little tighter window, because some part of this move can crush highs. So it's a timing kind of a thing. So you want your opponent to press buttons, press one. So you have to condition your opponent with this. Or what they can do is they can do nothing about it, and then you can have more pressure. Now, if you need a heat engager, you can go for this option. And you can also do one more thing like this. Like if you want to whiff punish your opponent, if you know that you have hit them with the move, this is a very good whiff punisher too. It is really fast, it's 20 frames and it is very consistent. So do this and then go for this. So this is a good move. When your opponent is scared from running two from far away, you can start hitting them with this. And it goes pretty well with the synergy of running two, because if you see it, running two hits from this far away like this, and this moves also hit from this far away, maybe further, yeah, from this way. And but you can also add one more move, and that is this one, and the animation are similar. And this move also gives very good plus frames. So after using this, you can trap them with this move too. So this move also goes with a pretty good synergy. So forward 3-2 is very good. Double forward 3 is very good. Running 2 is very good. You can use this after some of your moves when your opponent starts to like. This is quarter circle 3+4, by the way. Power crushes, Dragunov's power crushes are not that great. So this is only good in a combo, and this is on the wall. Like it's minus 14 and it's not worth it to use the power crush, because see, down forward one doesn't, if the opponent is using fast pokes, you can't do anything about it. If you have a read that your opponent is going to wake up mid kick or do something something slower, then you can hit them with this. Otherwise, you don't need to use the power crush that much, only on a read and sometimes. Okay, the next thing is down forward 3+4. You can use this move. It's a little on the slower side, but I think you can use this move. This move actually has some utility. If your opponent sidesteps and mashes button, or they do a sidestep button, this can clip them, and it gives you a follow up after getting hit. Let me just get the counter it on. See, it's pretty slow, so it can only be used like you can use this move has a utility, but it's a bit slow, you know. It also walls flats, but I don't think it does anything else. It's a good damage. It gives a good damage follow up on counter hit, but it's not that great. So I use it sometimes just to be unpredictable, that I can throw anything at my opponent to make them hesitate, and that's it. Yeah, 4-4 and 4-1. Also, there's another thing, 4-3, and it gives you a follow up again. And 4-3 also gives you back 4-3 too. Like, you can condition your opponent with this. Like, whenever you punish your opponent, you can go for down 2 every single time. And your opponent can't do anything about it. He has to block the move. Like this. And when your opponent starts to block, like when your opponent starts to go low blocks, go for back 4-3, or you can go for down 4-2. In some cases, if your opponent is scared, you can also go for this too, because this is all natural on counter hit. So if you need to, like, punish your opponent with something, you can do this. You can do 4-3 and then go for back 4-3 to punish them heavily. And this is a 62 damage. Some of the mini combos in this game has 62 damage, so this is a high damage for a follow-up thing. So you can condition your opponent with this to match this, and if it hits, like, your opponent can duck the second hit, but that is what you want. When your opponent ducks, you can hit them with this, and then the follow-up, right? So let's get into the next mind game. This is like, you can sidestep on block in some instances, or you can go for, like, even on block you can go for down 2s, but it's -4, so I don't think that it's a good idea, but you can definitely step it, and there's no problem in it. You can just do a smaller sidestep. See, it can be ducked. So if your opponent is ducking, you can hit them with this. It is -12 on block, so it's no big deal, but it gives a huge reward. And on wall, you don't even need to do the heat dash. It will give you a full combo. It's kind of a full combo. So this is a very good mind game. And if your opponent starts to duck or press buttons, you will condition your opponent with 4-4. When they start to press buttons, you can start going for 4-3 or 4-1. So you have to be a little safer. And when they start to duck, then you can go for this. Like, you can mix your opponent in a blender with this. Like, show them fours, and then like this. And once in a while, you can punish them with this. So it's that kind of a thing. So 4-4 game is pretty good. I don't see people doing it too much, but you can definitely do something. And you can also check them with this. You don't need to go all the way. You can check them if your opponent is pressing button by using just 4, and then punish them if they do something. And if they doesn't, you can start to abuse 4-4 like this, and it is +5, so you can do almost anything to stop your opponent or to mix up your opponent. Now let's get into the sneak cancels. Now, quarter circle 1 is a very good whiff punisher. Quarter circle 1 is very good to catch timings, or to catch the timings of the side steps that your opponent is doing to evade, like, running 2s. So this can be very helpful in doing that, but beware, it's -9 and your turn will end. -8, sorry. So your turn will end, so you need to just keep on blocking and you can't even sidestep too. And no power crushes. So you need to block after this move is blocked. You need to block because it's your opponent's turn. The other move I wanted to talk about is quarter circle 4. Okay, this is a plus frame move and this can condition, it also chip damages. So this is the kind of move that you need to abuse on your opponent. And when they start to, press buttons, go for a whiff punishment of any sorts. You can also synergize these two moves too, like this. So see, now this is the move. This is the quarter circle 2 move. You can also go for a running move to pressure your opponents after this, or you can opt for a whiff punisher too. So quarter circle 4 is very good on the at the wall because the pushback, there is no pushback and you're +7. So your opponent can't do anything. They can't interrupt you. You have a true 50-50 after you made your opponent block this. So you can do this. You can also do this while 1-2. Second hit is high, but it has a mid follow-up too. And you can also go for while 2 at the wall, but this is not that good. If you need heat, if you want to activate heat, you can also go for this too. Like everything you do is a frame trap here at the wall. And even everything is a frame trap if your opponent tries to mash after this without the wall, but most of the people don't. Quarter circle 4 is very good on wall. It is sidesteppable, but you can change your timing like this, where your opponent can't sidestep. Crouch 3 is a good move, but only do it from far away if you want. If you need a move with the round ender, it gives you a combo on counter hit, but it's not very consistent. Like sometimes you will end up getting at the back of your opponent, so it's not that worth it. And it's a counter hit launcher on a, like, when it hits from a tip range. It is counter hitting, but it is not launching. So sometimes it launches, but the other times it doesn't. But when it does, you need to capitalize the launch. Most of the times, most of the people can't because it's too unpredictable when it will. Maybe some Dragunovs will tell me in the comments. If you know why it happens, let me know in the comments. So crouch 1-4, it's -13 on block, but gives +7 on hit. So go for it. Like whenever you get the mix-up, a crouch mix-up, you can go for anything you want. Stop your opponent from mashing. So crouch 1-4 and 1. You can also go for a hit engager. So it gives you a very big combo and all. So you can go for crouch 1-4. You can also tackle your opponent with it, like this. So this tackle is unbreakable. So you can mix your opponent up after the heat engager too. But it is interruptible and some opponents can react to it, so be careful about it. By the way, tackle is very good. It gives you a 3-way mix-up on your opponent, so you can mix your opponent up with the grabs. Dragunov has a very good mind game too. He has 3 command grabs, he has a crouch grab game, and he has a very good tackle, which has 3 different options. So Dragunov's while standing 4 is a very good poke. So you can use it after like down 2. Make your opponent stop mashing, or this is also a move that you can make your opponent to start mashing after down 2. So this is another mind game that you can do in this case. So when your opponent is has started to mash, then you can sidestep and go for the, like I told you in the video, in the start of the video. While standing 1+2 is a 12 frame heat launcher and a heat engager. So whenever the opponent is like, opponent has hit you with the low, or you have blocked your opponent's low, you can punish them with this move. This is a very good 12 frame punisher. Now, up forward one is interesting because it gives you a follow up, but the follow up is not that great. There's nothing you can do, and it doesn't give you a wall splat or anything. But you can always, if you hit it, go for a grab. It's free damage thing. It's a free damage thing. So you can always go for it. So yeah, a forward one is good. You can also use it in a wall combo or use creatively. Up forward 4. Now this move is also pretty good. You can mix this move up with down 2. See the animation? He only jumps, but he turns around like twice. It also tracks. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't, because it's a little slower move. That's why it tracks, and it doesn't tracks this way. It tracks, but it's awkward. It's on an awkward timing, like the amount of frames active. So if your opponent is sidestepping, it will always track. But if your opponent is sidewalking, it will not. And you want your opponent to sidewalk, not sidestep, so that you could condition them. So guys, this is it for today. I have told you about the mind game, like down forward one. You can always go for down forward ones. If this hits on normal hit, you have +3, so you can also chain down forward 1 too. Down forward 1 is a frame trap here. I'll show it to you. It also tracks. See? It's +3, and it is kind of a frame trap, so your opponent will need to use a jab to stop me from pressing or sidestep. So that's what I want. I can also chain this move into this move. So we have learned about down forward 1, 1 2 1, down 2, while 4, back 3, running 2, over forward 3, forward 3 1+2, back 2 1. So we did down forward 1, 1 2 1, down 2. Yeah, I think this is it for us. This is it for today, and this is what my Dragunov guide is. If you guys like it, let me know. And who do you want me to cover in the next guide? Let me know. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe the video, and also share with your friends. And if you think that I should make more of these, you can let me know in the comments, and like and share and subscribe. So peace.